So how to identify if your snail is growing or not. So to detect if your snail is growing or not, so the first sign to check, so let me use this snail to demonstrate it for you. So to identify if your snail is growing or not, so you have to check this place on their shell. So we started seeing the traces of white growing on their shell, coming from their shell, growing on their shell. So we started seeing the traces of white. So once you started seeing the traces of white on this area or any part of this place, I'm touching. So because if the snail shell want to grow, it started growing and it will started the shell will started growing in terms of white. The color will bring white. Once the snail shell has started growing, you will start to see the traces of white. So once you check all these places, you started on their shell, you started to see that you will see some white growing on their shell. So it shows that the snail is growing. So you started to see some white on their shell on this location. So when you started seeing some white, it shows that your snail has started growing. So another sign to identify if your snail is growing or not. So once you are this place I'm holding, so once the snail shell is uniform like this, it's very tiny. Once the snail shell it's so tiny like this, so like this one you are watching, so it shows that your snail is growing. So once your snail shell is so tiny like this, it shows that your snail is growing. To confirm this, you have to break the snail shell. So once you break the snail shell and the snail shell is breakable, it shows that your snail still have more tendency to grow more. Let's break it. Can you see it? Can you see it? As I'm breaking it, so it shows that this snail it still have more tendencies to grow bigger than this. So you can go to your farm now to test run it. So you know that maybe your snail is growing or not. So these are the two signs to identify if your snail is growing or not. So but once you have checked for these two signs and you couldn't find it, it shows that your snail is not growing. So it means that you need to order for snail calcium. So when you started feeding them with snail calcium, the snail shell will become tiny like this. So you will start seeing some whites. So you will start seeing some white on their shell. So it shows that to correct that, so you will start see some the traces of white on their snail on their shell. So it shows that your snail has started growing again. So if you are watching this channel for the first time, make sure you follow this channel. Share this content for others to benefit. Welcome to Albarka Snail Farm. You are child in need the culture, the snail professor. Thank you for watching.